Hello, everybody. Welcome back, Wednesday night edition. We've added a coach, but he's not a new coach. He's a coach I actually started with in high school football, and we've been friends for a very, very long time. But we bring to the airwaves, I guess you would say he is the defensive coach, or he is the co-coach of the Knoxville Catholic Fighting Irish. Head coach Philip Shadowens. How you doing, Coach Shad?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How are things at Knox Catholic?
Man, things are great. We because of the heat, we practiced early this morning, so we got done early. Things are going good. Kids are working really hard. Knoxville Catholic's a special place. I don't know how much your listeners know about it, but it's a really, really special place to be with an unbelievable group of kids and parents and support. And it's been a lot of fun, buddy.
And that's the big thing. You started off at Smyrna, went to Middle Tennessee Christian, then went to Blackman, and then went over to William Blunt, and then now you are at Knox Catholic. What's the biggest thing you learned about the private school sector, other than kids are always wearing ties? Their mannerism is that there's more focus on you as a person in a private school, and how's that changed from you normally being in a public atmosphere?
Well, I've been public for 32 years, but I'll tell you this: kids are kids. I mean, public schools, private schools. We all, they're all kids, and we're all teaching. We're trying to teach the same things, and obviously, when you're paying to go to school at a private school like Knox Catholic, then obviously you probably have more overall parent involvement than you do at some public schools. But I mean, I've been at some places with great parent involvement as well. So, I don't know. Kids are kids. I know this though. We practiced at 7 this morning. They had to be inside at 6:40 in the field house, and not one kid missed practice out of 75. So that tells you something about I don't know if you can do it necessarily in public school sometimes. I think I would probably struggle at 7 o'clock to get a whole team there, but that's the kind of commitment our kids have at Knox Catholic, and their parents have, and they've done everything we've asked them to do, and it's been fun. I mean, obviously we're trying to build something special. Steve Matthews and myself are co-head coaches, and we're good friends, been friends for a long time. Really got to be really good friends here in this last 2 or 3 years actually. But so it's been a fun deal, and I think both of us are enjoying it. And who knows what happens as the year goes on, but our kids are getting better every day right now, and that's what we're focused on.
Well, and you coached against a guy here in Rutherford County, a guy by the name of Ron Adelot, and I mean, he didn't do anything on defense. I mean, he was literally just an offensive guy. The only thing he said through the headset was, "Get me the ball, get me the ball." But when you're running your troops and you're doing what you're doing, it's about getting the ball back and stopping them, and being able to give it back to the to your other guys.
Absolutely. I've ran the defense some as the head coach, but most of the time I've hired defensive coordinators. I think this is the 4th or 5th year, that I've truly had to call it all. But I've always been heavily involved as the head coach on both sides of the ball, and so I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It's different, but man, I'm having a good time. I'm even, we don't need 2 head coaches, 2 coaches on the sideline, and I thought it's the perfect opportunity for me to go to the booth. I can run it from up there. I talked to Steve on offense and, give him anything he asked for from a standpoint of down and distance and coverage and fronts and all those things. And so I'm enjoying the heck out of it, to be honest with you. And Steve and I did an interview together yesterday with a guy who has, a blog or whatever those things are called, podcast or whatever it may be. But Steve pretty well yesterday on that show, and said, I never knew how fun it could be. Us splitting up the duties of, some of the things that he don't like or some of the things I don't like to have to do. Now we can split them up. And so, it's been, everybody thought it'd be, funny and strange for both of us. It hadn't been. It's been easy from that standpoint of being co-head coaches. There's, it's because it's never about the coaches anyway. It's about the kids. And as long as you keep it about that, it doesn't matter. So we've had a great time. I think our kids have responded really well to it. And, and man, I'm having a big time, to be honest with you.
Well, and you've been on Inside the Headset since 2009, so it was old hat for you. You were probably a little more relaxed than he was getting on the air. As far as being, you and I, we've done many a shows together, so that was old hat for you, kind of going through that scenario.
Oh yeah, and back in the Rutherford County days, all that stuff. Then also we had radio shows every Saturday morning. So yeah, those shows we've done hundreds of those over the years. So that was no big deal. And but we enjoyed it. We had a big time being on there together. It was kind of funny. We were kind of making jokes at each other's expense, kind of. But so we're having a big time. Our kids had a good night last week. Obviously, and now we're traveling on Friday. We're traveling 2.5 hours up the road to Brevard, North Carolina. There's a college stadium that shares it with the high school there, so we got a big old stadium we're going to play in front of, and a big crowd. They say they usually have 5,000 or 6,000 at home games, and so we're excited about traveling to North Carolina on Friday. It'll be a fun game.
How did this game kind of come about, Coach? You guys going to North Carolina. Are you going to go down 40 and then cut up, or how's this going to go?
From what I understand, first of all, our AD did that before. Steve and I, either one, were there, but so I don't know how it came about. To be perfectly honest with you, but we're going to drive. I've been told we're driving over the mountain, going towards Asheville. I'm going to go over the mountain, and they call something like gorge down through there that I guess that you have to go down through. But I think we're just going straight over, straight over towards Asheville, and then we'll make a turn off that interstate, and we'll be there. So about a 2.5 hour little trip on Friday. Of course, we make a lot of trips. We come to Nashville 3 times, and I think things like 3 and 4 weeks or 3 and 5 weeks. We play at NBA, at Innsworth, and at NBA, and at BA. So 2.5 hour trip is no big deal. That's what happens in a private school game, and we host Briarcrest, I think, week 5, and so that'll be a 5-hour trip for them or more, maybe 6. So that's just part of what you do in this private school in the upper division league, and so a 2.5 hour trip is just. It teaches the kids to be mature too. I think there's a lot of good things about that. Everybody complains about travel, but there's just some good things you learn about maturity when you got to get on the bus. You got to travel 2.5 hours. You got to take care of yourself during that time and get off the bus, get yourself ready to go. So it'll be a good test for our kids. We're looking forward to it.
Came away big winner, 35-0 last Friday night against Lakeway Christian. Any points you'd like to add about that game and how well the Fighting Irish played?
Yeah, I think we really critiqued our kids hard on both sides of the ball. I think the first shutout the Catholics had in like 3 years is what we were told. I don't know. I don't keep up the scores like that, but we still made a lot of mistakes, missed some tackles, and had some poor alignments, and that's all the things that you have game one, right? You have misalignments, and sometimes the tackling's not as good as you want it to be. So we've told our kids that. Same thing with Steve on offense. I mean, we made some mistakes offensively. We got down there and didn't score on the goal line once. We threw a pick. There's some things happen along the way. So our biggest improvement, and it's coach talk, but I truly believe it comes between week 1 and week 2, and happens all the time. I've seen it over the years. It's usually a big jump between week 1 and week 2, and so we expect that. And it's not so much about our opponent. That don't really matter. It's kind of about a standard we're trying to establish at Catholic right now, and so we got to play to our standards, and hopefully we get a little bit closer to that standard Friday night.
Coach, it was great to catch up with you. We wish you the best of luck and safe travels Friday night. Come away with a win, and we'll get you back on the air next Wednesday on Inside the Headset.
Thanks, Stuart. Tell everybody we said hello. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, appreciate you. Stay healthy, Coach.